minute addition to our main card, ladies and gentlemen. The late addition is the hard-hitting bantamweights, the up-and-comer Adrian Yanez coming in at 13-3. Stellar record coming in at 5'7" with a 70 and 1/2 inch reach. This guy is a brawler. He loves to sit in the pocket and bang with you. He's also from our hometown. Hold it down, H-Town, Houston, Texas. Coming off a quite sizable win streak. He's won his last 3 in the octagon, that is in the UFC. On the other side, we have Randy the Zohan Costa coming in at 6-1. His measurements are 5'9", so he has a 2-inch height advantage and a 73-inch reach. So he has a 2.5-inch reach advantage there. Also went in at 135. He is coming off a brawl where he got a nasty head kick and ended it with punches against Journey Newsom. And before that, another nasty knockout. Both these guys are knockout artists. And let's get into the analysis, Zach.
Well, you just said it, man. Both of these guys are knockout artists. Both of these guys are good at what they do. And I think this is going to be a good fight. So we're here coming at you on a Friday, different costumes, because, this fight, got moved up to the main card, and this card lost Aspen Ladd versus Macy Chason last night, Thursday on Fight Week, due to an undisclosed injury. But regardless, we're here, we're back, we're talking about it, and I love this fight, man. This was the one I was excited for, even when it was on the undercard, because Adrian Yanez's last fight on the Brunson versus Holland card was a banger. This dude can strike with the best of them, and so can Randy Costa. So, just in terms of analysis, I don't have much other than I think Yanez hits fucking harder than Thor's hammer, and I think Randy Costa is probably going to be in for having to eat a big one of those on Saturday night. So I'm going with Adrian Yanez. And Gage, I think that's to you, man.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of bounce off what you said, Adrian Yanez has fucking hands of stone and hits ridiculously hard for a 135-pounder. I'd almost compare it to Cody Garbrandt and Cody Garbrandt's unprecedented power in that weight division. So it'll be interesting to see how many shots Randy Costa can take. I don't know if he's chinny or not. We haven't been able to see that yet in the octagon, but he's going to get his chin definitely tested this weekend. Other than that, flip it on the other side, Randy Costa, watching his tape, he's also a brawler, and he loves to throw hands and hits also very hard. However, I think the difference is that Yanez's striking is a lot more diverse in the sense that he mixes up his combos, and you don't know necessarily where he's going to come from, what angle. Costa, on the other hand, he loves that 1-2 and then or the left hook mainly to the left high head kick, and that's what he's knocked out a few guys with. And I think if he goes so well too many times with that lead left hook to the left head kick, that Yanez can knock him out. So that's just my kind of analysis from the actual fight perspective. But it's going to be a banger either way, just like Dana said.
I wouldn't be surprised, almost kind of like you were hinting at there, if at some point in this fight, maybe it's at the end of the first round or closer to the end of the fight if they get into the third round. But I would not be shocked to see these guys get in the pocket and just exchange blows, just go at it and, basically fight in a phone booth, do what they do in karate and Muay Thai and all that stuff. And just kind of, a la Cody Garbrandt, who you referenced, just kind of throw hands, fight. I think that's the thing is with some of these guys, and it's not a discredit to Yanez or Costa, but some of these guys, we talk so much about the technicals. We talk so much about what might happen, but at the end of the day, this is a cage fight. And I think both of these gentlemen understand that idea. And I think both of them are going to show up ready to scrap and trying to find a way to get it done, regardless of whether or not that knockout comes early or later on, because I think you and I can both agree that this fight is probably not going to go to a decision.
I'm also another point of analysis. I don't think this fight has any chance of going to the ground, only because I'd see Costa trying to take down Yanez because he couldn't deal with the striking and how hard he hits. However, Yanez wrestling defense is phenomenal. There's been plenty of guys that have tried to take him down and had no success. And that's kind of demoralizing as a fighter when you're trying to gain an advantage somewhere and you can't get him where you want him. So that's my last bit of analysis on this fight. Anything
Yeah.
else to add that?
I just think it's interesting to look at the implications here
Yes.
because we have two guys that are very young. Excuse me. Two guys with a combined 3 losses on their record, 4 losses on their record. And I just think it's interesting because we talk about the push all the time. We talk about what the UFC is going to do, who the UFC is going to push. And, we've always talked about that the lightweight at 155 is probably the most competitive and exciting division in the promotion. But, I think bantamweight, I think 135 has a really good argument to make against that. And I think in terms of the push that I referenced, one of these guys is going to get it after this fight. Whoever wins this fight is going to get the push and be, the guy that starts moving up. Maybe we'll see one of these guys move into that number 15 ranking, crack that top 15. And I don't think the other guy will be done by any means, but I think the winner of this fight has the potential to turn into a really big player in the weight division and make a name for themselves in terms of kind of being a star almost.
I mean, it's almost like Sean O'Malley, but nobody ever talks about these two guys,
And they
Sean
should.
O'Malley, yeah, I don't know if he got ranked after his last fight, but he hasn't been in the top 15, and neither of these guys are, and they're both very good. So maybe we see these gentlemen all crossing paths sooner than later.
Yeah.
Let's get into the breakdown of the odds.
Let's talk some bets. This is my favorite part of our show.
All right. Here we have Adrian Yanez coming in as a sizable favorite at minus 210, and Randy Costa, the best you can get him as plus 195. Zach, your initial thoughts on this? What are you thinking, bud?
It seems to be that we've made the right decision because it seems to be that the money is all going in on Yanez, where he opened on June 30th. Jeez, that was a while. But he opened on June 30th at minus 170, and now he's all the way down to minus 228 in some places. Minus 210 is the best you can get him. All the money's coming in on Yanez, but I don't know if I care for minus 210 odds. I think we both kind of talked about the fact that these guys are knockout artists and the fact that we are predicting a knockout. So Yanez by TKO at plus 105 seems like a really solid bet to make, in my opinion.
I mean, I guess you could couple that with fight doesn't go to decision. If I don't know how much that does for your, parlay, but
yeah, not much. It gives you a little boost, but I'm trying to think.
They know the odds maker they know what they're doing here. I mean, there's not really any kind of
I'm not seeing anything like I've seen in the past where I'm saying those odds are wrong, so abuse the shit out of that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the best I see here from a plus perspective is Giannis by submission plus 1225, which I don't even think I've ever seen Giannis go to the ground, much less, do it like a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean he can't, but it's still just way too high on the odds here.
I was about to say I'm not completely bullish on this idea I'm about to throw out there. I'm not 100% confident in it, but I am leaning in the direction of this fight probably gets finished in the second or third round. So if I was looking for something to tease my Yanez by TKO bet with, the idea of over 1.5 rounds being minus 117 doesn't seem like a horrible idea in my head. But, obviously in the back of my mind, there is always the potential that one of these guys comes out and we see 2 punches thrown and the fight stopped. So don't hold me to it, but I think I'm going to play over 1.5 rounds myself. So
All right. Well, I think that concludes our late minute edition